Sean.
I'll hit my own 3-part. You're off in God's country with Reid
And Dan as well.
Also known as the Brothers Hunt, where we take a weekly drive to the intersection of country music and the great outdoors. Two things that go together, like trying to pick up line on somebody in a bar and going home alone.
Or a daughter's idea of a new tattoo and a disapproving look from her father.
It's this thing. It's the eyes closed.
It was a grimace.
And the mouth
and the pressed
this.
lips.
Mm-hmm.
Brought to you by MeatEater and iHeart Podcast.
We got a special one for y'all. We had Miss Ella Langley on, and not only did we have Ella, she brought her dad Jason Langley along. They do a lot of hunting. A lot of her stories and the history of her hunting is with him. And so he was.
She called me the night before, last night I guess, and was like, "Dad's real nervous."
He looked nervous coming in here.
Real nervous, dude.
He did great.
He's got like this good radio voice or something.
Yeah.
First time it popped in my ears, I was like, okay.
It's funny. He kept on saying interrupting and be like, can I just tell one more story about Ella? So there's so many great old hunting stories of them too. And it's fun to watch them interact in those things. So
I loved how she was
you're really going to enjoy it.
Well, tell him, Daddy. Tell him that story. Tell him that story about that one, Daddy.
You tell him. And she was like, no, I like it when you tell it. So it's going to be a great episode. You're going to want to listen to the whole thing.
Yep.
I've got something that happened to me a couple mornings ago that was kind of crazy.
Okay.
Oh, I mean, it's not crazy. Like it's not like
ghosty.
No, nothing like that. It was more like it's the first time I've ever seen something like this happen.
Okay, dude. What? I have no idea what you're talking about.
So it was in the morning, I think, and Jordan, we were Yaya just got there, and Jordan was like, "Hey," she was like, "There's a bird we have this sunroom off of our house, and it's got big windows and a big door, and we got a little jungle thing in there for our kids to climb on when it gets, it's too cold to go outside, so they can play in there and at night and stuff. And so sometimes birds get in there and they fly in and they try to get out and they can't, so they're just like landing on the curtain rods around the room, just kind of waiting. So my tactic
can be a bit of a ruckus, by the way, when that happens.
Oh, especially when 2 get in there or 3. It's happened before. It's a jungle. Yeah, that's crazy.
It's a party.
So my tactic has been, what I figured out the best way to get a bird out is to close off an entire one side of the room and then completely open the other side of the room.
Screen door, yeah.
Get them to that one side that's closed, and then just like wall them off to the side that's open. And usually they'll fly. They'll start flying and then they'll fill, whatever window's open and they'll just head out. It's been a great tactic because the first time or a few times I tried to get them out, it was terrible. So the other morning, Jordan's like, "Hey, I think there's a bird in there. It's still in there." I was like, okay. I went in there, bird flying around.
What kind of bird we got here?
Just like a little Tweety bird.
Sparrow?
No.
Thrasher?
Maybe a thrasher. Yeah, actually. So I see it up there and I see that it's kind of like, so it's been in there a minute, So I was like, all right, buddy, I'm going to try to get you out of here as fast as possible. So close off one side, open up the other side, do the tactic. It flies flies off of the closed off side, goes to the other side and lands on the curtain rod. I was like, man, it's so close to going under. So I was like, okay, I got to get you flying around. Well, I went over to it, and when I just like scared it to fly off, it came down to like head level and flew as hard as it could into the closed off door over there. The glass door just went boom, doop, comes up, falls down, lands on the towel. I was like, no, man, not right in front of me. I mean, it's sitting there and it's, kind of twitching. I was like, dang, dude, did I just make this bird commit suicide and run into this glass? So I picked it up and I was like feeling bad. And I saw it like kind of like just still, it wasn't dead. It was still alive. So I went over to the open window and I put it on the ledge and it had enough still there that it was like holding on, but it was leaning and I'd have to like lean it back to upright and then lean the other way and I'd lean it back to upright. And dude, I sat there and I was just like, come on, man. I was saying little bird prayers over this little bird and petting this little bird head, just hoping that it would come to. Dude, 2 minutes later, it went like this. Like it was leaning and it was still leaning. I was petting it and it went like this.
We shook it off.
It knocked itself out.
Birds be knocking themselves out.
Knocked itself out, dude. Like we would, like you get knocked out if we boxed and I hit you with a right hook, like I would knock you out.
Debatable.
And you would lay there for a couple minutes and then shake and then come up.
It shook its head.
It literally shook its head, dude. It was looking outside and I was petting this little bird head, like little bird pets, and just it went like this. Like it was like, God dang. Like, what's this dude petting me for? It flew off.
Why are you telling the story?
I have no clue because it was interesting.
The shaking of it?
Yeah, it was just a I've never seen a bird knock itself out then fly off like it was fine.
Interesting.
It was gonna be my glad at.
You're glad at that.
But I didn't get to tell it today because we started talking about other stuff and I was mad at these shoes cramping my pinky toes.
Still hurting?
They're numb. They're past hurting.
Cold?
No, we're fine. So,
well, that was.
Is this what the intro is now?
I mean, I have a, I have a little. I think I have a little bit of advice for the folks out there. Okay. It also has to do. What? It also has to do with birds.
Okay.
Kind of.
Okay.
So there was a time. Well, first off, my wife and I have been talking about this, and I'll go ahead and just give you the point at the beginning so you can have this in your head. I think it's time that we as people start getting rid of things that add stress in our lives, and this is a solid point that to piggyback off of our dad episode.
What does that have to do with birds?
I'm not there yet. If you'll give me 5 seconds, you took
have to get
15
there.
minutes of the intro. Jesus H. So
we don't say that on this
So
podcast.
my dad comes over and we turkey hunt. We turkey hunt together, and we're hunting, and he's like, "What's going on, man?" We're just sitting there talking. The birds aren't doing anything. And I said, "Man, I got these 2 roosters, and they are killing each other, and they're fighting all the time, and they're bleeding all over everything."
They weren't killing each other; they're killing the hens.
And they were killing each other, and they were jumping on the backs of the hens and like digging their little claws into their sides. And I was finding my hens were starting to hide,
called spurs,
in the corn, and it was really getting annoying, right? So I catch these 2 roosters and I put them in pens, and they're in my garage, and now they're just screaming in my garage, just defecating in my garage, and it's just a mess, right? So while we're turkey hunting, I'm thinking about this. They've been in these pens for 2 days. We're walking back. Turkeys don't act right. We're walking back to the house, and Dad goes, "Hey, man, what's on your mind?" I was like, "I got to do something with these roosters." And he goes, "Sometimes it's easier to just cut the heads off the rooster." And I was like, in my head, I thought, but I don't want to do that, right? And as I got back to the house, I started thinking, he's totally right. He's totally right. I walked into that garage, grabbed them 2 roosters, decapitated them, cooked them in a frying pan that night, and the stress was gone. Sometimes in your life, bro.
You're so tough, dude.
Sometimes in your life, you got to cut the head off the rooster, whether it's something it's just adding anxiety,
eliminate the problem
to your life.
Yeah.
And instead, it took more effort of me worrying about it for days and days while these stupid roosters were in my garage, when I should have just cut the head off the rooster immediately. So I'm encouraging you, if you have a rooster in your life that's and you know what happened when I got rid of them roosters? The hens came out of the corn. They healed back up. They started laying more eggs, and the entire aura of my little farm was better. Sometimes
you're so tough
in your life, bro, you got to cut the heads off the roosters. And that's my advice from the chair in our intro. I hope you enjoyed my story more than you enjoyed Reid's.
What an intro.
I mean, at least it had a point to it.
Hey, if you go follow us on social media.
For more sage advice and pointless stories, go follow us on Facebook.
Guys at the God's Country Podcast, on TikTok.
We're kind of big on TikTok now. I don't know if you know that.
Are we TikTokers?
Well, our profile
it will never be on my phone. I'm not getting spied on. You're
getting spied on.
Yeah. If you got a phone, you're getting spied on. Go follow the Brothers Hunt.
I mean, there's 3 cameras on us right now.
Keep up with our weekly antics. It's wild. It's dumb, but it's fun. You know. Anything else, Jordan?
Thanks for listening.
We love y'all. Peace. We rolling?
Rolling.
Yeah, so I'm stuffy. I'm allergic to red wine now for some reason. I don't know why.
What happens? You break out in handcuffs?
No, I just the last few times that was a good one. Yeah, if I could bump nuts across the room. The last few nights that I've drank it, I've like been fine.
The last few nights are just like an every night drinking wine thing.
Feel like you need to have to talk to your brother. You
Yeah,
know?
maybe.
It's like a couple nights a week, I'd say, something like that.
Well, I mean, it lasts a night.
Yeah.
You survive 5 to 7.
Yeah, we got 2 kids under 1, dog. I mean, 2 kids under 2. My bad. But anyway, yeah, I get stuffy. Also, speaking of stuffy, we learned that my 2-year-old daughter has a imaginary friend named Stuffy. That's a bunny now.
Imaginary friend that's a bunny.
Yeah, named Stuffy.
I had one.
Okay.
Her name was Dee Dee.
Was it?
Yeah.
What would Dee Dee like?
I don't know. I don't remember. I just remember I did. I just remember
She was a
little
shit
kid.
factory. She was everywhere.
Dee Dee did?
Dee Dee was a
Or Ella.
Dee Dee.
Yeah.
What? Maybe she did. I don't know.
Hey, okay.
Wait, so is this a real friend or a dog or just?
Oh, this was a real bunny we had.
Oh, a bunny.
Yeah.
Oh, we did have a bunny. He's thinking I meant I had a bunny.
So what was,
We did
what
have a
was the
bunny.
bunny's name?
We had a bunny?
Yeah. And he was on the old deck, and then you'd walk out there and till finally a hawk caught him, or an owl one night.
We had
May
a
have left
goat
him
too.
out.
Tell him why you got rid of the goat.
Same thing. He'd stand at the back door with his feet up against glass, bellowing and
Oh,
crapping on my deck. And
I feel that as a parent of kids that will have pets one day, because I've got a bloodhound and I love her to death, but she'll sit there and paw on the door and paw, and it'll drive me insane.
Pets, man.
I've got a great dog, a Boykin Spaniel that I've had. I've always wanted one, and planned to get one, and lo and behold, Ella runs out and gets her one first. Of course, completely pissed me off.
You just got that dog because you knew I wanted one.
No, yeah, that's exactly what you did. But anyway,
But that helped Mom get you a dog.
it did. I'm using that to my benefit now. I can do lots of things that Ella wants to do. So
This is already fun.
when I couldn't get any action out of her letting me go buy a dog, Ella helped me. So
Nice.
But anyway, a Boykin dog they're the best. And I took him training, and he's got a lot of drive.
A lot of energy.
What'd
Are
you
they hired?
what'd you
They're
train him
hired-
for? Just
He's
a
a bird hunter.
bird hunter?
He'll retrieve ducks and,
Okay.
and dove. And I mean, literally, when I pick up my shotgun and put a shot collar on him, he'll deal cards if you ask him to.
Love that.
I mean, he'll do whatever I want him to. But if I take that shot collar off,
he's a madman.
he may run over and pee on your dove stool or something.
Yeah, that's all right. Dude, okay, wait.
Yeah, we got a special one. We got a special one.
I've already laughed so hard. Ella, first off, you introduced Ella.
We have a platinum artist, big deer killing. Recently made her Tonight Show and Today Show debut.
That's right.
Alabama girl named one of country's most promising new stars by the Grammys. Big deal. We've got Ella Langley and special guest, her dad, Jason.
Thank you. Thank you.
Dad's first podcast.
Dad's pod.
First pod.
Yeah.
Dude,
Dad's first podcast.
We just had our dad on too. It was his first pod. Yeah. I'm glad this is what's going on.
Me too. Me too. Well, I think it's going to be cool for people to kind of see me through, not just me talking about it. I'm so tired of talking about myself.
I feel that.
So let him do it.
Yeah,
It's going to
for
be a little
sure.
more talking than I would
all right.
probably do about myself.
hey,
But
man,
that's
I
all
love
right.
it. I love it.
Introduce him. Tell us who this guy is.
Well, this is my dad. He's been my dad my whole life.
Oh, well, what do you know?
We went to the same
incredible.
high school.
Congratulations. Same high school.
My little sister's about to graduate from the same high school. My mom ordered us all cap and gowns because from my dad down, we've all graduated from the same high school.
What high school is
Wow.
It's called Hooper Academy. It's in a small town where we're from called Hopewell.
it? Okay.
You pass it on 65, like if you're going straight down 65 south of Montgomery.
Okay.
There's this green school on the side.
Okay.
Its benefactors, Fred Hooper, which he's a racehorse guy, and his horse won the Kentucky Derby. He has a big place in Ocala. He's dead now. He'd be like 110. But when his horses were racing, they let us out of school. And you all go watch the
that's
all
awesome.
the race.
Do you spell like Hooper?
Hooper.
Okay.
And it's south of Montgomery.
Sally, and it's not Hooper, it's Hooper.
Okay.
People have everywhere we go, all the schools around us would be like, why do y'all say Hooper?
Yeah.
And it's funny, you'll see the kids that their parents, because there's like my best friend from high school. We went to school together, kindergarten through graduation. And her mom graduated. Her mom and my dad dated.
Huh.
And
Look at
went to
there.
the same high school.
Son of a bitch.
Didn't you introduce her to Mr. Greg, Miss Donna.
After you dated her?
No.
While you were dating her.
It's a small town. It's a small
That's usually
town.
how it happens in high school.
No.
But anyway, so it's you see the kids that their parents went there. We all say Hooper. But then the new
That's how
kids
you know
come
if
in,
they're
they
from
say
there.
Hooper.
Yeah. Well, that's the same way where I live. It's spelled just like Santa Fe, but they say Fe. Santa Fe. It's not Fe. And so if you say
There's like on the side of Barnes, it's pronounced fee.
literally they wrote
not
it's
Fe.
pronounced Fe,
Yeah.
not Fe.
Well, it's like
So,
Jordan Heron. And it's spelled Jordan, but it's actually Jordan.
Jordan.
like Bill. That's how they say it.
Bill Jordan. Yeah, Jordan.
It looks like Jordan.
We like to start the show with a little segment called
We're gonna do
Dan's
it
always
up
late.
high.
Oh, okay.
A pie?
Let's get it.
Oh, up high.
Give me the other one. Okay.
What are we singing?
I'm hard.
I forgot what we're
it's
singing.
just- Give me a again.
I don't remember what
What you mad at? Just tell us what it is, what you mad at. Is it your in-laws, kids? Might be your boss man or your
I don't know
neighbor's
if I can do
cat.
this.
Just tell us what you mad at.
It's high today.
That's a good.
That's
high this
good. I
morning.
like
Thank you.
that.
Appreciate
Real
that
high
little
this morning.
ditty.
Real high
that
this
little,
morning.
that little P ditty. Ooh, I don't think I can say that.
Nope.
What am I
Nope,
mad
over.
at?
Over.
Sure, go for it.
Sure. Yeah. Heck,
Is that what you're asking?
Yep.
Yeah, or be glad, or be mad.
Yeah. You can be
Okay.
mad at something. You can be happy at something.
Really hot tea this morning. I
Too
drank
hot?
some tea.
Too quick.
It was in a straw,
Mm.
and I took a big gulp, and I'm pretty sure there's a degree burn in my mouth right now. So I'm not pumped
Ruined
about
it for
that.
the day. Ruined it for
Everything
the
I'm
day.
going to eat for 2 days is going to be absolutely terrible.
No doubt.
Tastes kind of charred.
But yeah.
I'll piggyback on that. So Jordan and Reid showed me a new
Mad at us.
recipe with sweet potatoes. When you don't have time to like stick one in the oven for like 4 hours, you can cut them in little cubes, air fry, hit them with a little butter, a little spice, and they'll like kind of make little sweet potato fries.
Mm-hmm.
Went too early last night.
Oh no.
Went too early.
You got to be
Oh,
careful.
that's
with
like
those
a pizza roll.
Yeah, it is.
When it sticks
It
the roof of
holds-
your
right, it
mouth.
holds
the outside
heat.
of it's fine, right? Like the touch of it
Yeah,
feels
it
great.
feels good.
Pop that thing in. It's a
Bam.
million
Perfect.
degrees on the inside.
Night.
Well, yeah. Also, like a hot pocket.
Oh man,
That's a good
And
one.
then you burn yourself just to
Oh,
get
dude,
to the
when's-
middle, and it's cold.
Yeah.
You burn yourself all
It's a
the way to the
reverse
middle.
effect.
Well, that's what cool. Maybe they did it on purpose. It cools you off halfway through.
Maybe they
you know?
do.
Dude, when's the last time you've had a hot pocket?
years.
Mine's probably college.
I mean, it would destroy. I mean,
Mine was
I
when I
might
was
have
on
to
tour
be-
with
I might
Randy
have to go-
Hauser, I think.
Yeah, it's probably a lot of
late
hot
at
pockets.
night,
on the road.
like those
That's true.
sketchy hotel rooms we're
Yeah.
staying in. That when you're starting out in a van, you're selling as much merch as you possibly can.
Oh yeah,
To pay anything.
Sure.
anything.
Yeah.
I mean, some of those shows where I was getting $500 a show in a
Right.
van, trying to pay everybody.
Yeah,
like
you're losing money,
that's
pretty much.
Yeah. So every night we would have to sell a lot of merch. But anyways, we'd go back, and I'm starving because I can't eat before I play a show.
Same.
I cannot
It's the
eat.
same way.
Same.
I can't eat like hours before I play. I wake up and I eat like a big lunch kind of, and then I don't eat till probably 11,
Yeah.
almost midnight.
Why,
Sometimes
why
not
do you
till
think?
1
Why do you
a.m.
think it is? What's your
I
thought
don't know.
process?
I've always
of
been that way. I think it's like this, the adrenaline of,
Yeah.
I don't know what it is. I really don't, but I cannot eat it. Like I just don't have an appetite at all.
Yeah,
I
I'm the
throw
same
it up.
way.
I feel like if I do that. But
On-
Casey
on
Tyndall.
stage.
Yeah, that's my big. I already fell down for the first time this year.
You did? I didn't see the
Everybody
fall.
does. Everybody falls.
I didn't see the fall. Was it
I
a good one?
deserved it.
Did it hurt?
What do you mean you
I
deserved
brought my. Well, I've like skirted around a lot.
Oh, is that where you got hit in the
Okay.
head with the guitar stuff?
Mhm.
Did it hurt? Did it get you pretty good?
It did hit me in the head, but I didn't know it hit me in the head until I watched the video.
What are we talking about?
Her falling.
You
Fell
got
down.
hit with a guitar and fell?
Mm-hmm.
Her and the
You wanna
guitar
see it?
player fell.
Okay.
I think I have a video of it
Yeah,
somewhere.
I'd kind of like to see that eventually. But you're okay. I mean, we can laugh at it now. You're okay.
Yeah, I was laughing when I did it.
Oh,
I mean,
okay.
it's simple injuries like that is.
Yeah. Ernest had a good fall. Did y'all see him
Oh,
fall?
yeah.
That was a good
Well, what
one,
was
dude.
funny is him and I were we were talking like the day before or something, and I was like, I've never fallen, and for some reason
No
I was
way.
like, and I've said that a lot. I've never fallen, and I was like, think I'm gonna jinx myself, and I've almost fallen billions of times,
Sure.
like where I just skirt around
Mhm.
it. But I danced for a long time, and I kind of danced around on my toes up there. So, but my foot went in between the sub
Mhm.
and the stage. So when I stepped back, it went down. And when I go
Gone.
do this part in the show, it's the last song. I put my hand on my guitar player's arm to like get down or like just to show some contact, you know, when like we're getting in and he's like ripping this solo.
Yeah.
And so I go to do that, put my hand here, and at the same time my foot goes to the floor.
He's all you got.
And I see those big muscles, all I see. And then all I see is the big muscles and guitar, just like the light. It was just the shadow of him falling down on top of me. Yeah. I just giggled the whole time, really.
I'm glad it didn't hurt you.
I should be mad this morning at these boots because my pinky toe, I can't feel my pinky toes right now, and both of them, they're squidged up in there so tight.
Are they slender?
Yeah, I guess so, man. It's kind of hurting.
You take them off. You can take them off if your socks match.
But they do. I'm a sock guy. I like matching
here we
socks.
go.
Interesting. I'm gonna turn it so the world can see.
Ripping solo. Yep. See ya.
Damn. Oh, damn. Yeah, the headstock hits you right in the mouth.
You just gotta own it, right? You just gotta own it.
I was giggling so hard.
Did I do
I
that
was
right,
really
Lauren?
concerned about Ben because he fell backwards on his pedals.
Kept playing.
Oh, he doesn't miss. What? What's so funny is he has fallen a lot.
Oh,
He falls all the time, but he never misses a lick. Like the first time he did it, we were on tour with Co Wetzel's, the first arena I've ever played, and he falls down. I was like, dang it! But it was so funny because the way he fell down, he like rolled out of it and then just continued to play here for the party. You know,
I
don't
think
know.
things like that honestly are like connect with the crowd.
Oh, they love it.
Because it's like
Yeah, weirdly enough, I think those things are endearing a little bit.
Totally.
Like it's, yeah.
And I think it's because
vulnerable, right?
It's
Like-
live music, and like if you're playing live music, that stuff's gonna
You
happen.
might fall down.
If you're playing tracks, that shit ain't gonna happen. You know what I mean? It's just gonna be normal, and you're not. You're playing live music. You got a live band. It's kind of like when
Oh no,
I
we
used
do
to.
tracks too.
You do?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, but you do have a
Well,
band.
no, I mean, not only live music. I mean, she's up there dancing. She's getting into it.
Yeah.
She's jumping
That's what
around.
I'm
saying.
It's gonna happen.
It's live
At
music.
some point, I would love to not have tracks, but I think, you know, when we're playing in these big stages and we're up against these bands that are, you know,
Yeah.
full stage, I can't afford a band like that. When I get rich, there will be signs.
Hell yeah.
Signs will
Come
be.
on.
There's not going to be a lot of room on my stage because there will be horn section,
Yeah.
string section. I want them to like compete
Nice.
at
Love
each other,
that.
you know,
Yeah.
like split the band in half
Hell
and
yeah.
make them go. Anyways, I don't know. I have a lot of ideas.
I
but
like
yeah.
when I get rich, there will be
She
signs.
said there will be signs.
All right, let's hop into some outdoor talk with you, Ella. Did you recently kill a big deer?
Yeah, just killed a buck. Was that Sunday, Dad?
Oh, recently.
Yeah.
Weather
it
was
back,
good.
back down in Alabama.
Back down in Alabama. Got a couple hunting spots down there.
Leave them loose. You ain't gotta. Don't specify.
Yeah, but
People will try to
leave them loose. Yeah, I like that's good.
write that one down.
But yeah, so Sunday I made it. It's probably the toughest weekend of hunting I made it on, me and Dad. Not for lack of seeing deer, which isn't the usual thing, because you know we're just country hunting out there. You know,
Country
it's
hunting.
Like that.
kind of what
Yeah,
that's what I've grown up doing. You know,
Same.
some seasons we'd go and I'd be like, I saw a doe today. That was so exciting.
Made my year.
Ah,
Yeah.
you know.
We've had those.
But this weekend was not that. We saw a lot. And I whiffed twice.
Did you?
I don't really want to say that, but I just, like I said, I'm trying to be vulnerable out here for
There
these
you go.
people.
Put it
I
out.
mean, what can you do? I mean, I don't know what happened. It's hard to fix what you don't know what you're doing wrong. You know, like there's something I think where I'm like bumping the gun a little
Sure.
bit right before I
Absolutely.
shoot. Maybe.
What'd you do wrong, Dad?
She winces.
Yeah.
She gets
There you
she
go.
holds it on him too long, and then her heart starts pounding. And then I think she's holding her breath some of the time. And you
I don't
you know
know
you
what
get to hold your breath. You know you should be breathing normal
Totally.
and shoot them on exhale and
Mhm.
you know. But I
What's-
think and then once you miss one,
Oh
the
yeah.
pressure's on then now.
sure.
So I
Yeah,
can't
it's
miss this
eating.
other deer.
Yeah.
And she let it build up, but you know the third
so then I
the
did
third
again.
buck, you know she shot him and didn't make the best shot in the
Yeah.
world.
Yeah.
And
That's because I was like, if I do this 3 times in a row, I'm gonna jump off the box. This box
Listen,
stand
I'm a
head
jump-
We've
first.
Yeah,
been
let me
there,
dive
dude.
off into
You're,
this
you're
field.
not
Oh,
alone. You're not alone.
Head first, I will jump off the top of this box. Like if I have to go home, like that'll make. I don't cry over things, but that makes me want to sit down and cry.
Yeah,
like
yeah.
I'm so upset about it because it's like the seconds before you're like, why,
Yeah.
why didn't I just take an extra second?
Sure.
Let it
We've been
just,
here
you
for
know.
4 days,
Oh, my God.
freezing.
The
and all
burden
that.
of it's a lot.
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
Like,
yeah. And then my dad's sitting there and he's like worked so hard to get, me a deer and wants, obviously me to kill something. So
Yeah.
I'm like, oh my God, it's
Sure.
So where she hit him? She hit him back?
She shot him a little back. And
yeah.
you know, we get, you know, Ella's like any hunter. She's dying to get out of the tree stand and go down there and put her hands on him.
Oh,
you
yeah,
know,
sure.
and, you know, I could tell he hunched up and ran into a pine thicket. So we dilly-dallied a
Don't
minute.
blame that
and-
on me. I went pee before we
Yeah.
went out there.
Anyway, we finally got
Pee.
we finally get in looking for him, and I can't find any blood. I mean, we've looked and looked and looked, and
Probably like 25, 30 minutes.
so I said, Ella, go back to where you shot him, see if you find blood, and she did, and so here we go. You know, we're speck here, speck there, kind of deal. Then there'd be a lot, and so we trail this deer, and I am not exaggerating, in a pine thicket for about a mile.
Wow.
I mean, he was
On
going
specs.
going through.
I was like,
Yeah.
And it's tough. It's tough trailing them in pine thickets too, because it's not hardwood leaves.
No,
it's not big maple leaves
look at
or oak leaves.
look at our
He
hands.
was-
Look at our hands right now. Like
Yeah, still all
we are
scratched up.
toe up.
I mean, he was going
It's
through
bad.
things.
From the flow up.
He was going through things a rabbit wouldn't go through.
Yeah,
it looked
sure.
like. And so anyway, I got to a point where I didn't even know where I was at. I mean, I was trying to figure out how I'm gonna get out of here. You know, and
Was it just you two, or did you
it
have
was
Yeah,
just
just
us
us
two.
We traveled for like an hour.
She shot that deer at 10 minutes to 5, and we loaded him up at 7:30.
Goodness.
And we finally found him. I walked out, you know, and got the truck.
Well, tell them how good I did at tracking the blood.
Oh,
Yeah,
she
tell us
did
how
great.
good
Yeah,
she
by
did.
the way, yeah. You know, we had a couple instances where we ran out of blood. I went down every trail.
Sure.
I was telling Ella, you know, I just don't know, honey. And I'm trying, you know, she's like, no.
Gotta keep looking, yeah.
So she goes, here it is. She found more blood. And she
Were you
honestly.
flashlighting? Were you, yeah.
she
I was
tracked
on my
him.
hands and knees. Like, I mean, at some points, like going. I mean, it was just like briar patches, thorns. I mean, one of the first nights I got a thorn in my nose. Not only did I miss a deer, I got a thorn in my nose, and I had to ride the rest of the way home like that, just dealing with it because it was so
Quit hitting
small.
those bumps, Dad.
It was so small. I was afraid I was going to push it in there, so I was just sitting there, missed a deer with a thorn in my nose. But anyways, I mean, it was thick, so I was like crawling.
Yeah, I know that
Crawling in
thick
there.
stuff's tough.
Well, Ella has no quit in her. I mean, she has no quit. She is, you know, when everybody's ready to say, you know, I'm done with this,
Yeah.
she just keeps going. So anyway, her old man was so tired. I was soaking wet. It's freezing outside, and I go to get the truck, and I leave her sitting there with that dead deer. You hear coyotes howling everywhere.
Hey, at least me there takes the gun.
So
I'm
she's
just-
sitting there on the dead deer waiting on me to get back.
We had
you
to
know.
find how to get out because we
Yeah.
had no idea. We'd listen for the highway to get out.
Yeah, I had
so
to
could
drag
get
you to
out.
another road.
I had no
I
idea
waited
where
for
we
a
were.
truck
I
to
was
go
out
by.
in it.
I waited for a truck to go by and headed that way.
Wow,
what I did.
survivor.
Yeah.
It was.
Wow.
How did you know where to pull back? I didn't ask you that.
I
How
hung
did
my
you-
hat on a limb when I walked out.
Old trick.
Went and got the truck, then came back to the hat.
Old
Then
trick.
drug him to the.
Drug him to the truck.
Got it.
Dang, that was smart. Because I was wondering how you knew where to pull back off at. But yeah, he got out of the truck and he'd say holler, and I was just woo, hollering, and it was just he
Got
found
you.
me. We found each other that way, and then we had to drag the deer back through all that, and it was like.
Oh, that's
Dang.
all.
I mean,
Yeah.
vines would get caught on his horns.
Oh.
We fell down. Like I turned around and I drug him, I feel like, most of the way.
You did.
I was I put Dad through hell this weekend, so I was like, at least I can do
Let me
is
get-
let
let me drag
me
this
drag
back
this
to the
dang
truck.
deer. And it was more for like my pride reasons too.
feel
Like,
that,
I'm going
yeah.
to drag this deer back.
Yeah.
I did have to take a couple breaks and ask Dad to help me, but
No shame in it.
I would just drag until I fell down backwards, and then
Yeah.
I'd get back up, and then I would drag until I fell down backwards, and we did that all the way out. We finally get the deer out there. Dad has a truck running, so we could see the lights, so we don't get turned around again.
Yeah.
Dad opens the truck door, and I hear, "Well, I don't mind if you do."
Oh.
Just streaming on the highway, and I was like, "Of course, this song's playing right now." Throwing a deer in the truck.
It's a pretty good night, though.
That's nice.
Yeah,
though.
yeah.
Nice little cap. So
Yeah.
I assume, just even by your conversation, which by the way, he sounds great on the mic, dude. He's got a
He's
real
a pro.
nice
Yeah,
voice.
he's a pro.
Yeah, great voice, Dad. Tell us
We're just gonna
about
call you Dad. so.
tell us about
good.
your shooting method. Like you seem like you knew. What's your procedure if you're going to take a shot on something? What are the steps that you go through in your brain?
First thing I generally do is calm down a little bit and, make sure I got a good stance, prop it up. But I'm a guy that when I decide to shoot a deer, I kill him.
You get it done.
I don't sit there breathing in and out and
Yeah.
worrying and lathering up over.
You go into this
the
mode,
deal.
right?
I just
like you go
I'm
into
just-
a mode.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I go into a mode. So,
Yeah.
but I'm 54 years old. I have
Yeah.
missed plenty and made plenty of mistakes. So I've had a lot of time to, do better.
Yeah. Learn. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
What-
are you a breathing guy, or are you just kind of like down on him, trigger pull, get it done?
Yeah, I just, if it's, depending on how long a shot it is,
Yeah.
but most time I'll just put the crosshairs on and kill him,
Yeah.
you know, because I know if I start all this,
think about it
trying,
too much.
thinking about it, and, you
Oh,
know,
I
he's too
think I go
far, I
into
need
it
to
thinking
aim,
I'm
you
gonna
know.
miss.
I-
That's what
I
I
just-
do.
Yeah. I don't even.
I
lie.
tell him about the first deer I killed.
Yeah, I had a meeting in town with something. Ella wanted to go hunting. and-
How old are
Yeah,
you?
how old?
9, 8 or 9.
Damn, we're talking early.
So I
That's real
had a
early.
buddy of mine take her over and drop her off. And
No.
What do you
The
mean,
first
dropped
deer
her
I
off at
killed.
9 years
the
old?
first deer I
Oh,
killed.
the first deer you kill.
Not the first buck.
Well, she was sitting in between my legs, kind of on in a tree stand, and doe pops out, and she's going to shoot him. And I said, "All right, Ella, get on him." And is this the deer you're talking about?
First deer. I
And
killed.
she goes, "Dad, I just can't do it. You shoot him, and we'll tell him I shot him." I said, "I ain't doing that, Ella. I'm not doing that. You got to do it." Well, so she pulls the trigger, and she does it to this day. Any deer she shoots at, I missed him.
Yeah.
She looked at me and said, "I missed him." I said, "Well, he's laying right there in the road. I don't think
I don't think you did.
I don't think you did. You know." So, and I want to tell you another quick story.
Please tell us
tell
when
me.
you
When
want.
Ella was a little older than that,
This is why you're here, dude. Okay, go for it.
we were hunting, and I took her down this green field I've got down there, and off the back of it's kind of a swampy area. So I buzzed down in there. We found this kind of a good spot back up by a tree, and I start rattling for Ella. Ella's 8 or 9 years old.
You're
whatever it is.
rattling in Alabama?
I was rattling.
We just leaned up against a tree, random
yeah.
spot.
That
in the
never
woods.
works for me unless I'm in the Midwest.
Yeah.
Ever.
Well, it does. I
It's
mean,
a
but
tactic.
you got to do it at the right time.
Sure.
You
Yeah,
got to
you
do
gotta
it
catch 'em.
real close to rut. But anyway,
right.
so Ella's, I have this little 243 single shot.
what we grew up on.
You cock a hammer, you know. So she's sitting there beside me to my left, gun propped up on her knee. All of a sudden, I hear coming, and here he comes. He's heard us rattling and grunting. He runs in there,
Man.
all the hair standing up on his back.
Oh, yeah, that's
I
exciting.
mean, and I'm
It was so cool.
I'm leaned
Yeah,
up.
First time I ever saw
Yeah,
it.
it's cool.
Ella's got him. I mean, she's got it on him. Hat's pulled down. She's down the barrel. He walks out doing this look around the tree thing, trying to figure out where it was. I bumped the grunt again. Here he comes. He is 20 yards from us, man, looking at us there at the bottom. And I'm going, kill him, Ella, kill him. She's not shooting. And I'm thinking, damn, and then he starts off again, and I grunt again. He stops. He's looking. Now he's got a bead on us. He sees us two sitting by us. I'm saying, kill him, Ella. Well, he didn't just bolt. He just kind of high-stepped it out of there and slipped out of there. And I was like, dadgummit. And I turned around to her, and she had tears just running down her eyes. She locked up. I mean, this was a nice buck. She just could not drop the hammer on him.
Wow.
you
It was
know?
the first big buck I'd ever seen. Like I was probably 10.
Yeah.
I remember specifically coming home eating the soup that night my mom made. We always love having soup or something after hunting.
Nice to have something warm.
Oh, it's so good. It's my favorite thing. I'm starving when I get out of the
Yeah,
tree stand.
yeah.
I just remember like crying, eating my soup. Like not only did I miss a big buck, like I watched this deer for the first time. We're like,
Yeah, it's tough. Tough. We all go through it.
tell him about that time when I was little. You remember that? He said he's poking them.
I had her with me, and Ella would
The Skittles.
she would always
Orange.
want to take Skittles and those orange crackers, and she was determined that is why we always.
When
saw
you say
deer.
orange cracker, you mean
The
cheese
peanut
it?
butter,
Cheez-It
the little
crackers.
peanut,
You
Yeah,
know,
the orange
Orange
peanut butter.
cracker, yeah.
Okay.
So we're buzzing along.
Yeah.
I would drop them to the stand all the way, thinking like, I mean, I was little, like,
Sure.
I'll just leave it on the trail.
yeah, leaving them trail for dad.
And she's little. She's got her vest on is dragging the ground, and she's got a big toboggan on. She couldn't have been 3-4 years old, maybe.
Yeah.
So I shot this deer, runs off the field. We go in there looking for him, and he's not dead. And I shoot him with my 45, and then he gets up again. I had to shoot him again, and got him laying there. And I turned around at Ella, and Ella's little round baby face was sitting there with tears running down. And the guy with us said, "Hey, honey," she said, "that deer's a mean deer. He's been poking all the baby deer with his horns." She goes, "Really?" I said, "Yeah."
him
She
again,
goes,
Daddy.
"All right." She was so happy. Yeah.
Was it important to you as a dad to get her outdoors, to get her into the woods, or was it just like, if I'm gonna go, I gotta take her with me? What was your mindset on that?
Ella, I love doing that, and of course, I wanted my kids to do that too. And I have, they don't give you an owner's manual with raising a kid. Man.
Ain't no doubt.
You don't know
Ain't
what
that
to
the
do. And all I knew to do was that. And another thing was I traveled a lot. And I still travel a good bit, but I'd leave on Monday morning, and I would be back Thursday afternoon or Friday, and so I'd just and Heather being worn out with all the kids,
Oh, yeah.
she'd give them to me, and we spent
Talk
all
about you on it
weekend
too. She had that.
riding around her listening to my music in the back seat, or we'd go hunting or fishing or whatever it was.
Yeah,
But yeah, Ella, she draws. She's a lot like me, and I'm proud of this. I was not the sharpest tool in the shed. I mean, I struggled in school. No offense, Ella. But
He said she's a lot like me. I'm dumb.
yeah. but if you're that way,
We're
you gotta
dyslexic. We're not dumb.
Right.
you gotta try twice as hard.
That's right.
I know I have to work harder than the average bear to get it done.
Come on.
And working hard is what has been her success. She has no quit in her.
Yeah.
The other night we trailing out deers. A couple times I was thinking, damn, I think we lost this deer. She wasn't having it,
Yeah.
And I watch her do it with her music.
Yeah.
I watch her do it in sports. When she played sports, we brought soccer into the little high school. It wasn't something we always did, but girls had soccer. I think boys had it too for a year or two.
Mm-hmm.
Ella never went to a game that she didn't get a yellow card. Not one. She was extremely
Determined.
physical.
Yeah.
But that's
We also probably from 8th grade to senior year won 5 games. And every game I would go out there and be like, we might win today.
Yeah, you might.
And halfway through, we'd be like,
We ain't
We ain't
winning.
we
winning.
ain't winning today.
But I feel like I taught her that. I mean that when you're not, you got to try twice as hard.
Yeah.
You just got to get it done. Don't quit.
Yeah.
That's a good motto, man. It's the only thing that works in music. I mean, it is the only thing that works.
What's that saying? If you're gonna be dumb, you gotta be tough.
Yeah, for sure. What,
So, I mean-
dude, you just calling Ella dumb?
No.
I have
I'm
a song about that.
I'm saying
Really?
that's part of the motto, man. I'm in that same.
I've heard that
I'm in
whole life.
boat.
If you're
Yeah.
going to be dumb, you better be tough. And we wrote about a guy cheating on me and then,
Yeah.
jacking his stuff up.
Yeah, dude.
And you
for
got to
sure.
be quick on your feet. I mean,
For
let's
sure.
just even this right here is new to me. I'm not real comfortable doing this, but
You're killing
smoking
it.
it.
You're
I
killing
told
it.
y'all
You're
you
the
kill
fresh-
it.
You're the
Crushing
best
it.
guest we've ever had.
but I want to tell you a story if I could. Real quick.
Please.
Come on.
So a couple years ago, 3 or 4 years ago, a friend of mine's dad passed away. So I'm getting ready to go to the funeral home. I'm out, where we live, everybody, when somebody dies, you take them food, you go to the
No
funeral
doubt,
home,
sure.
you show up for
No
your
doubt.
I've been
family.
a lot of funerals in my life.
So anyway, I was getting ready to walk out the door, and I said, Ella, I got to go to funeral home. You gonna go with me? She said, yeah, I'll go with you, Dad. So she loaded up, and this is before any of this Nashville stuff's going on. She was dinking around kind of at the local places and stuff. But so we ride up there to the
That's exactly what my
around.
dad would have said.
You know,
Exactly.
we ride up there to the funeral home. I open the door, in the back of it, and the whole lobby's just filled up with people, and some of them I thought I recognized, I wasn't sure. So I walk around the corner and look inside there where the casket is, and this old man and woman were standing there. They came to us on a string. I mean, hey, who are you? I said, I'm Jason Langley. Who's this pretty girl? And I said, this is Ella. Oh, we're so glad y'all came, and come on up, y'all can see her. Well, we didn't go to see a woman. We were going to see a man.
Oh no.
So he walks us up to
The husband of this
The husband
woman.
walks us up to the casket, and
We're in the wrong funeral.
he says, doesn't she look good? And I said, yeah, looks just like she's sleeping. I mean, it's good. And
We're playing along now because
You got to.
there's nobody in
What are you
there.
gonna do?
And he just wants to show his wife,
No
you know.
doubt,
I mean,
man.
it's
so
just-
he motions to Ella, come here, honey, you want to touch her? And so
Touch her?
Ella walked over.
no,
touched-
Dad, he asked me that, and I looked at Dad. Dad went,
Yeah,
Touch
you're
her.
right.
You
It's
gotta
too,
touch
you're
her.
already in
Yeah,
now.
I mean,
Pat her
so-
arm,
so-
pat her arm, Ella. Pat her arm.
So we got done with that, and I'm thinking, dear God, Ella, don't rat me out. Don't rat me out of this deal. And so
I don't know
finally,
this shit.
I touched the dead lady.
woman? Yeah.
I did.
so when we got done with that, I gave the guy a hug and told him we loved him, be praying for him. And
No doubt.
Yeah.
we walk out the door, and when we didn't go to the truck, we were off to the one we were supposed to go to, and Ella goes, Dad, do we know them people? I said, hell no, we didn't have a clue who that
We laughed walking from that parlor to all the way to the line to get into the next
My
one because
was. We had to walk out another door when we left because we didn't want to walk by him again.
Right.
Yeah.
Dude, that is
No telling what y'all did for that man though. Y'all might have made that man's night just petting
Yeah.
that old woman's arm.
We sat in there for a while. They sat us down. We talked to us for a minute.
But you just off the cuff just figured out how.
No, me and Dad looked at each other and just decided right then and there we're gonna just ride it out.
Yeah.
God,
Right.
too late.
Out.
Maybe we should it be a prerequisite that you have to bring your dad on this podcast.
That
'cause
is
these stories are
great.
awesome.
No, we got a lot. I mean,
It's
These
like
stories
there's
are awesome.
there's wedding crashers, and then you have you guys are
Funeral
funeral
crashers,
crashers.
yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
you just roll in.
I don't know if that's as much fun.
It makes for a
let's-
great story, though.
Yeah, let's switch it to music for a little bit.
Already? Wow. Oh, yeah. It's been 30 minutes.
Yeah, we our driving to the stand. We had our dad on the other day, and like our driving to the camp song was Don Williams' Tulsa Time. That's what that's kind of what we thought of. Like that's what I think of when I think of being in a truck with my dad and looking over and I can just see him dum, 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 doing things.
Dashboard, drumming.
What was you said earlier? You listened to my music. What was some of that like? What was she brought up on?
Yeah, what were you jamming back in the day on the way to the deer stand?
You know, I'm a person. I was born in 1970, and I grew up in the 80s, kind of. You know, but my brothers, you know, we listened to a lot of Molly Hatchet and 38 Special and Leonard Skinner and Boston and Def Leppard and, you know, you name it. But my dad, you know, was an old Hank Williams guy, you know, and so I was listening to ton of country music. I mean, I love Merle Haggard. I listen to him. I love Jim Croce.
Oh yeah.
All, you
Awesome.
know, I'd make CDs and it would have just a smattering of, you know, it might be,
Michael Bublé,
Michael
Willie
Bublé.
Nelson on the same CD.
You know, it could be Jim Croce and it'd be Boston right behind it.
man.
And but yeah, I just, you know, I like a lot of music.
What do you remember listening to?
What's your go-to when you're thinking of growing up music wise? What'd you?
I think my first two favorite songs were probably "You Never Even Called Me by My Name."
Oh man,
That was the first cuss word I ever said. Damn, in that song. Got run over by a damned old train.
You're right.
And I remember being a kid, being excited about that,
Yeah.
saying that part. And then Mama Tried.
Yeah.
That was two. Every time we'd get done with Mama Tried, I'd go,
Again.
and then we just
Really?
we played. I mean, on loop.
I'll tell you funny.
that's what 9 to 5 is.
On that old CD that I had done, it had a skip in it. It would go at a certain spot.
Sounded like a rubber
She
duck.
thought it was part of it. The whole
did.
time.
Hit me with it one more time.
Which song? You remember which song it was?
Yes, it was. It was
on.
on. It was David Allen Coe, and
Never Call Me by My Name. Play it. Let's see.
Do the skip when it
but
comes
I
to the
thought
skip
it
part.
sounded like a rubber ducky. And as a kid, I remember sitting there like imagining them in the studio, like
do you
I
remember
never
where it
understand.
happens in
And
the
I
song?
didn't know. If I listened to it all the way through, I probably could.
Let's see.
No, it's like earlier, like in the halfway. I mean, it sounds like a rubber boots covered in water. Like I don't know how to explain it. Yeah, exactly like that. But I didn't know that wasn't part of the song until I
that's
heard it for
funny.
the first time out of his truck. Because the only way I heard that song was on the CD.
That's awesome.
That's really funny. That's really funny.
That's awesome.
So you're cutting your teeth on those tunes, and then you're like, how did you know that you could sing or that you even enjoyed like doing music? When did that come about?
His parents, my grandparents, like you said, my grandpa was. I mean, he could sing. My grandma could sing. He could play every instrument by ear. He was one of four. He was the second of four. He has an older sister, younger sister, and younger brother. They grew up, I mean, in a little shack. I mean, no air conditioning, no nothing. What year was Grandpa born?
1929.
Wow.
And there's
So-
5 of them. He was the oldest boy.
Gotcha.
There's 5 of them.
And they grew up like a lot of country people did. They did, you know, they sit around and sing. They just sit,
we
and
do.
they could all
Right.
pick guitar and play the piano.
The first
and-
one learned and taught the next one, and then the next one taught the next one. And
That's
so,
kinda
like,
what we
our
did,
family
honestly.
reunions were, all of them would get together and everyone was singing. Music has just been a big part of, you know, and of our life on my dad's side, but also my mom's side. They love music, and they're just, because my mom's from Michigan. So that whole side of the family is completely opposite from my dad's side of the family. Especially, I mean, music too, you know, like they listen to a lot of Pearl Jam and Grateful Dead and Peter, Paul and Mary and
Yeah, that's good stuff.
I mean, all kinds of
Everything
stuff.
all the stuff you said and all that stuff is really.
It was a
really
really
great
cool way to
influences.
grow up.
Yeah.
I mean, I've listened to, Motown was a big one.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, and then I'm from Montgomery, so I did listen to some rap too. So
Oh,
I even
yeah.
got those
Heck
cadences
yeah.
in there.
Yeah,
you know,
everybody
that's where the
throw 'em in
triplets
there.
come from.
That's right.
sometimes, you know.
Syncopation.
And I want to say that, you know, a big part of this, I see it because I've had an outside the fishbowl look at this whole thing. But my mother she could smell a beer over a telephone. There was no drinking at all around. I mean, if you've been drinking, she knew you'd been drinking.
Yeah.
And she'd tell you about it. So, and my dad was not that way. And so he had a piano out in the barn where he could sit out there and play the piano and drink his beer. And keep it out there separately.
Yeah.
But when Ella came along, she was the first girl that'd been around. And I'm telling you, we let my mom, she'd come pick her up when we went to work. She'd keep her all day long. And that's all they did. They played the piano, had her
Wow.
perform stuff. She was so confident of her ability, probably because it's the best thing we ever did.
Yeah,
That's
right.
great.
Amazing.
Loved
they
on her.
just-
And she was always a little kid, but wanted to perform in front of everybody.
Yeah, that's great.
And so she'd stand up there in church and just let her rip. And
What's some of those early performances songs? What some of
Amazing Grace was probably the first song I ever sang in front of people.
Yeah.
I remember learning that song. The first 2 songs I learned how to sing. It's Amazing Grace, and then this other song called Froggy Went a Courtin'.
I know Froggy went according.
You do?
Yeah. Know that song?
I think I might start this next record off with.
Oh, really?
This next record is going to be a lot about Alabama.
That's
and,
awesome.
Just kind of about my roots and the stuff we're
My-
talking about
our
today.
dad-
Give me a little bit of Froggy.
It goes, Froggy went a courtin' and he did right,
Mm-hmm.
Froggy went a courtin' and he did right, babe. Froggy went a courtin' and he did right, sword and pistol by his side, baby of mine.
Love that.
And so
That's
it
good.
has
That
all
sounded
these.
real good. By
it
the way.
has
I was
all
like, I
these-
ain't even going to try to do nothing with that. That sounded real good on
Thank
the
you.
headphones. Yeah, you're
Well,
a killer. I mean, I know you're a killer, but you're a killer.
Well, thank you. I've been singing that song, but I remember when I was learning those songs, my grandpa would be sitting on the piano, my grandma was in there doing the dishes, and I'd learn like 2 words, and he'd play it for me, and then I'd go in there and show my grandma, I learned the 2 words, and I remember I went home and practiced it, and then we had Wednesday night church, and I ran up to my grandpa, and I was like, look, I learned it, and he just had me sing it right there in the
That's
middle
awesome.
of church. Everyone's eating, and I'm just sitting there singing. I mean, I had a cousin that worked at my dentist, and sometimes she'd make me get up and sing. Like kids would be like, "Zzz." And I'm like, amazing grace. So it's like this has been the plan for me my whole life.
Yeah,
it has
sounds
been.
like
I mean,
it.
I loved it. Everything about it. I've always loved it. I've never wanted to do anything else. Not even that. I think that I could be good at doing plenty of other things,
Sure.
but this is what I want to do.
So when was it when you were like, all right, I'm gonna do it? I'm gonna.
My whole life. I'm
I'm saying like move to Nashville.
move to
I'm
Nashville.
gonna,
move to Nashville.
I'm gonna do the thing.
When I graduated high school, so in high school I was playing, I was doing like some wedding stuff, like wedding ceremonies, but I wasn't really gigging. Mom and Dad took me to the studio in Eclectic, Alabama, which is closer to Lake Martin, if y'all know where that is.
Yeah.
I don't.
Great
okay.
fishery.
Yeah. And it's just this little studio, and this guy, they were doing this thing called a VPK. He's going to do for me, and this is kind of an old school way
Like
to
an
do it. And they don't-
EPK.
That sounds
like an
video
EPK
press kit.
Yes,
Yeah.
video press kit,
I
and
had
it's
to do
an
one of those one
old
time, too.
school way of this is how they used to get gigs.
That's right.
So they would do a video, and they would do 8 songs and covers,
Yep.
and then you'd send it around to all the venues, and then that's how you book gigs.
Mm-hmm.
Well, obviously, this isn't 1980 anymore, so it's like you just look them up on Facebook and see what you're doing. But at the time, I was 16, I didn't know any better.
Yeah,
so I'm like,
sure.
of course. So we go, and I pick out the songs. I can't even really remember.
Dude, do you still have the VPK?
Oh, dude, there's somewhere.
I
I do know it. I did do it.
That.
No love without freedom.
I'm sorry.
But so I remember watching that video, thinking, I suck. I am terrible. Like you remember that? I went back in my room and just cried. I cried.
can't
I was
do
like,
this.
no, I was like, oh, I'm so bad. I'm never gonna be able to do this.
Yeah.
And he said, the guy said, I want you to get 50 cover songs together, and I'll help you start booking some
50.
cover songs.
That's plenty.
Jeez, that's like an 8-hour show.
But he told me that's what I needed to do. I didn't know any better. So from
I
16
mean, that
to
seems
18,
like a lot, doesn't it?
That's a lot, but at the same time, it's pretty much it's like setting you up for whatever comes your way.
yeah, I
man.
mean,
You
it was
can-
really
you can
beneficial,
kinda
and
poke
honestly, it
yeah.
helped me like having to go and learn all those songs, and I
Absolutely.
mean, that was just I grew a lot in that time. So from 16 to 18, I played sports and I was really involved in my high school, so I didn't really pursue music then. I wanted to pursue music all the way. I knew if I wasn't going to just put a pinky toe in and decide to start doing it, like I was going to go all the way.
Yeah, man.
So we graduated high school. I went back to the guy and I said, here are my 50 cover songs. And he brought me to this little bar in Eclectic, Alabama, and I played like some random songwriter night. Same night, there was a band playing that night. They just all kind of got up and played together, and I got up and just sang with them. And I looked at all of them. I said, do y'all want to be my band? And they're like, yeah, sure. And they were my band for the whole, from 18 to, I moved to Nashville when I was 20.
Gotcha.
So I went to Auburn
Yeah.
University for 2 years. And that was awesome because that's how I met Bradley Jordan.
Yeah. We used to play over there at Sky
Sky Bar, Bourbon Street. So I
Bourbon
played all
Street,
that. And then, I was with the band. I was playing 4-hour cover gigs Thursday, Friday, Saturday.
Sure.
I'd go play an acoustic gig on Sunday.
Grinding, dude. That's a
tip
grind
jar.
right
I mean,
there.
well, that's what I did.
Yeah.
This is the only job I've ever had. I've never given myself another way to make money at all. I've just given myself this because I know that's what I want to do. I don't want to do anything else.
Yeah.
So 2 years in Auburn, I feel like I've played, all the bars in the Southeast. I don't want to do covers anymore. I'm burnt out. I've been doing it from 18, I guess that was 2 years of just straight doing it.
Did you play Rick's at Starkville?
I didn't ever play Rick's because Rick's is kind of hard ticket. It's portrayed as soft ticket,
You're
but
right.
it's kind of hard ticket.
It is.
So Trey Lewis,
Mm-hmm.
I had a boyfriend who was in music, and then his manager, they were both moving to Nashville and we're going to live with Trey. And I was like, well, hell, I'm not staying here.
Yeah.
So I called mom and dad and I said, hey, I think I want to drop out of school and move to Nashville. And, I'm just going to be in more debt anyways when I graduate, just start. I mean, I'm going to go do this anyways.
Right.
I would rather start it now.
Yeah, no doubt. Let this be your schooling.
And that's what they said. And that's
what.
what, and they helped me out when I first got here. And they treated it like school. My mom always said that. She's like, this is your schooling. And I said I wasn't in a big rush when I moved here. Well, then COVID hit 6 months afterwards, so I wasn't able to be in a big rush. But I just didn't ever feel like I was racing against the clock just because I was just figuring out how to do it,
Sure.
And what's funny is all these videos of me are resurfacing of when I did all these covers back in the day, and Risky Riff used to share them, and and my voice has changed a lot. I got my tonsils out. It's 4 years this December.
It changes. It changed my entire life.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
So I got my tonsils out when I was 20, right when I moved here. I moved here that December. I got my tonsils out, and then COVID hit.
Mm-hmm.
And my voice has changed so much since then. It's crazy. Even if you go listen to Damn You, I mean, it's wild.
Yeah.
But it's just also from consistent working, when COVID hit, that's how I found Joy Beth Taylor, who's my right hand
she's awesome.
man in songwriting.
She's great,
She's just I remember our first write on that back porch. I was living in a house with 3 guys, and I was still playing some cover gigs, and I was watching all of them get gigs over me, and it was tough because I was like, I'm put on just as good of a show, but
For sure.
but it lit this fire under my
Yeah.
and same thing kind of with songwriting, when her and I were out there, she's from Alabama as well, so we just kind of had that little bit of a connection. But remember that first day we were writing a song, and we joke, we found the first song we wrote a couple of weeks ago, and we were laughing listening to it. It's kind of silly to think about. The melody's actually kind of good. We could just put different words in there and maybe start over. But I remember us talking about some of our goals, and writing with Miranda Lambert for both of us. That was one. And I looked at her and I said, I bet you and I will do that together one day. And that just happened 2 weeks ago.
Damn.
The first time we wrote with
That's
Miranda
awesome.
together, we did a little retreat with her and Luke Dick. And
That's great.
so it's been a cool journey of finding those people for me in
Sure.
town that I just love and love me and believe in me, and I believe in them. And so that's what's really kept me going a lot through this. And obviously my family support me the way that they do and just loving me. But that's the thing, nobody has ever thought I was going to do anything else.
Yeah.
None of them, everyone knew that. If you ask any of my family, they're like, yeah, we all knew that this is what she was going to do. So there wasn't ever really any question. Or when I wanted to move, I think it wasn't easy for me to tell Dad, hey, I'm going to go live with 3 guys and move 4.5 hours away.
Yeah.
Can't imagine.
I mean, I'm his first girl, and so it's, we're close. We have a great relationship. So that was tough. And moving here, not knowing anybody, and just pretty much having a dream. And it's been a really cool 5 years here.
Yeah.
I've been here 5 years now.
I remember the
And-
first time that we wrote with Joy Beth, me and you and Joy Beth, and I remember seeing a chemistry between the two of you. And even while, and I had been in town at that point 8-9 years, so I kind of knew how it worked, and watching you guys kind of work together, it was kind of like, I was like, man, I just need to kind of sit
Just be a
back
part
a
of
little
this.
bit and
Yeah.
what, and I remember at the end of the ride saying, hey, you guys have got, like, y'all have got it. Y'all just need to stick together. You don't really need
We
any
do.
help. Like, y'all are,
JB's great. I mean,
Yeah,
she's a hell of a
She's
songwriter.
awesome.
And
So
well,
great.
and
just her personality and her thing is her vibe's great.
people like her is another reason I work so hard. When I moved to town, I mean, Joy Beth, like, I had to have a sit down talk with her about how many songs she was writing
Yeah.
a week.
Yeah.
Like, she has, since she signed a publishing deal, has turned in the most songs every single year out of all of Sony.
wow.
Every year's.
definitely
Even
beat
the
me.
first, even the first year when she signed her deal halfway through the year, turned in more songs that year.
Yeah.
Off of her Schedule A.
Wow.
So she just, having people like that. And then Trey, Trey's been doing this for over 10 years now. And when I first moved to town, he was doing the same thing, cover gigging. I mean, he would go haul off in his little, I don't even remember what kind of shitty car he had, but it was shitty, let me tell you. And I mean, him and his whole band would sleep in it. They'd play 4 hours, sleep in it, drive the next place, sleep in it. And so being around people like him.
Inspiring, huh?
It is. I remember one time I canceled a Skybar gig because I had a terrible anxiety attack. It's probably one of the only, I even to this day, I've canceled less than 5 gigs, and that's one of the ones. And I remember I had a freak out this day, and I just couldn't do it. It was just a mental day. I was so wrapped up in those cover gigs and Skybar, man, when you do that so often, and these kids are just spilling drinks all over you, and it's like,
It's a ruckus.
no one gives a shit about you
Right.
up there at that
Yeah.
point, and you think, you just kind of live on it and hope that they do, but they don't.
Right.
You're just a jukebox at that point.
Yeah. Play some,
So I just,
play some cover
I was
songs.
having one of those days in my band back and then, and that was tough. Being a young female trying to control these guys, not control, but work with them even, and
totally.
they just don't respect me in that way. I remember my guitar player back in the day, I said, hey, I wish we would play some more of my songs. She said, well, you start writing better songs, we'll play them. I'll never forget him saying that.
Jeez.
It was crazy. And, I was 18 years old, 19 years
tough.
old, and
Yes.
I was just starting to write songs, and but I remember canceling that gig, and I wasn't going to tell anyone about it. But Trey knew I was supposed to play, and he's like, "Why aren't you playing the gig?" And I couldn't say I was sick because I lived with him, and he knew I wasn't sick.
Yeah.
And I remember him being like, "Ella, you just can't do like that." He's like, "You just got to get up and play the damn show.
Yeah.
Get up and play the damn show.
He's right.
Get up and play the damn show."
Yeah.
And so having people like that on days, I feel depressed or anxious or whatever, when I'm in my bed, I want to pull the covers over my head. Trey will literally come in there and rip the covers off of my head.
Yeah.
He's like, get out of the bed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Get up,
Let's
go to
go.
work, know. And even this year, both of them are people that I've met, friends that I've made in this town that are family for me now. They really are. And, when they just, Trey always like, you just got to say, I'm a machine. I'm a machine. And, I'm not a machine, but there are days where you do have to be a machine.
For
and,
sure.
I'm learning this year just how insane this job is.
I bet you are, especially with the nutso rise of, my gosh, we even made a game about it.
Yeah, we're gonna play a game. We're gonna let you sing. Excuse me, just the excuse.
We got to
me.
talk about it. I mean, it's huge.
And
The
then
song
we're
is
gonna,
huge.
and then we're gonna throw out some pickup lines after that part, and y'all are gonna rate them. Okay,
You're going to decide on what
All right.
the best pick, because the song is kind of about,
we'll get to the
It
song.
is a pickup
Picking up,
line.
yeah.
You know how I got the title, right?
I don't.
We'll get into it. Let's get into it after this game.
After
We'll do the
the
game,
game.
and then we'll talk about the song.
All right, hold on. Let me pull it up. Hey, is my guitar coming through? I can't hear it in my headphones. Doesn't matter. I'm just making sure I didn't do something wrong. Mowing.
Pickup turned up.
I mean, I'm good if y'all are good. All right. Where is I took some pictures of my favorite pickup lines. Oh, I'm starting with this one. Okay, you sing Excuse Me.
Excuse me.
Are you my appendix? Because this feeling in my stomach makes me want to take you out.
That's pretty
Pretty
good.
good,
I
well,
don't know.
Pretty
That's
good.
pretty good.
That's
Pretty good.
Yeah.
Pretty good. Found that one.
Yeah, that's
Okay,
That's pretty
all right,
good.
so
I got one.
all right, so now you say
Yeah.
one.
I would
and
give
let's see
that.
who.
I would give that an 8.
Okay.
Probably.
Okay.
You're interested in that one. Okay.
The
All right.
bodily function thing, maybe.
It
That's why I
started
didn't
off a
get a
little
10.
strange.
So
I know.
I was like,
It's okay.
where's it
It starts
going?
off a little-
All right.
So
Some of these
8.
may be cringy. They may be good. We just trying to figure
Just
it out.
honestly rating them.
Are ready?
Excuse me.
Are you Wi-Fi? Because I feel a connection.
Oh,
I'm gonna give that a 5. Just 'cause I've heard that one before.
It's a pretty good one.
I have
huh?
never heard that one before.
The appendix one was good.
okay. Ah, man, I might have started off with the best one.
Excuse me.
I assumed happiness started with an H, but I believe it starts with a you.
Why'd you point at Dad?
I don't know.
Because I feel like I needed to. I feel like I needed to bring him
He
in.
like side looked at you like this, like
I didn't think I could get any more nervous, but I just did.
Yeah, I don't know.
Come on, man, give it a rate.
Oh, probably maybe 5 or 6.
the Pendleton
okay.
was better. Yeah.
Okay,
The
5-5.
Pendleton was pretty good.
I know,
Started out
look, it's
strong.
rounds. I won the first round. Let's see how this round goes.
Excuse me.
If you were a vegetable, you would be a cucumber.
That's good.
You like that one?
That's
Damn.
good.
Yeah.
Dang, that would
Yeah,
work.
like-
I'm trying to when I respond. That's
Right.
what I'm rating these.
Okay,
at.
last-
I would at least be like, that was good.
Last round.
On that one.
Last round.
All right, 1-1.
Let me look and make sure. Oh, I'm gonna get you. I'm gonna get you. Ready?
Tiebreaker. Excuse me.
I'm gonna complain to Spotify about you not being this week's hottest single.
That's
See?
lame.
If
Come
someone
on,
said that to
Emily.
me, though, it'd be kind of weird.
Because it is. You do
Yeah,
have the
be
hottest
like-
single.
well, I actually
Well.
do.
All right, give it a grade. Just give it a grade. 1 to 10.
I probably wouldn't respond to that one.
Boom. Oh, I got you.
All you gotta do
I
is-
won.
all you
Go
gotta do
ahead, dude.
I like respond or not respond.
Yeah, I like that.
Excuse me.
You're looking a little sick. Looks like you might need a little vitamin me.
I don't know if I respond.
Dad laughed at that.
All right, we'll do one more because that was a tie. That was a terrible tie.
Best pickup lines I've ever heard is from Riley's dad. He gives
Oh,
the best
yeah.
pickup lines I've ever heard in my life.
Yeah, but his are like made. He makes them up though, right?
Oh, he's like off the cuff. I
Yeah.
mean, it's incredible.
It is.
It is a work of art, honestly.
These are bad because I just looked them up on the internet. All right, you ready? Damn, this is gonna be bad.
Excuse me.
If you were a fruit, you'd be a fine apple.
Oh, I like that.
Okay. So it's
But I feel like I've heard that one.
but it at least gets a grade.
Gets a grade.
Okay, what does it get a grade? I mean, look, your boy's been out of the game for a minute. Okay,
I thought you said respond or not respond. I said
I'm basically
respond.
just-
I like respond, not respond.
Okay, you responding to that one?
Yeah.
All right.
Well,
Ready?
it depends.
I'm gonna go with a little inside ball here, but this is my last one.
Excuse me.
Girl, are you a doe in rut? Cause you looking hot.
What?
Hot doe.
Boo. Anyway, it's not me. It's you. You like that one?
I don't know. It confused me a little.
Same. Who
Dang,
would-
you
I
even
didn't know
being a deer
bucks
hunter?
didn't rut. I mean, does could. I
yeah,
mean, bucks
those
can't.
don't really rut.
Are you a doe in rut?
You should have just gone with heat.
Cause you're looking hot. Hot doe.
Heat hot. Yeah. All right, who won?
I don't like this game.
All right, who won? Say who
Yeah,
won,
Dad.
Dad. Who won?
He looked at you and
I know.
winked at you.
Right.
I think you are pretty equal, to be honest.
Okay.
All right.
Like we hate that.
We'll settle for
All right,
a
give
tie.
us the
People do
story.
that.
How did you come up with that
Yeah,
title?
give
Let's
us the
talk about the
title.
song for a minute.
Well, I was.
Because it is gigantic.
It's
biggest
crazy.
song
It
in the
is
country, for sure.
It's
gigantic.
freaking crazy. I don't think I have comprehended. It's just.
Well, it's impossible to at this point.
I
but
have no
it
idea.
will set in.
I don't
eventually.
know.
I think the coolest thing
Well, it's
about
so
it
cool.
is I saw a video of y'all finding out that you won the CMA and you looking at Aaron and being like, isn't it crazy? Like we've written a ton of songs together, tried to write great songs. And that's what we do, right? As songwriters, we come to this town wanting to write
Yeah.
great songs. And
Sometimes
and
you're in there like this.
for sure, man, and overthinking it. But you said we sat there and laughed for 30 minutes, and here we are with this tune. Like it's crazy to me that my first cut in town was the same way. I mean, we wrote it as the chorus as a joke, and it ended up being my first ever cut. And so, yeah, just tell us the journey of that song and how it came to be.
Well, me and Aaron were in another write actually, and whoever we were writing with walked out the room, and that's when you strike up your little conversations.
Oh, yeah.
And me and Aaron just don't quit talking. Like we literally don't stop talking. It's insane. The ADHD is flying everywhere.
It's everywhere.
Yeah, he's got to do like 7 things while he's writing. Like he'll be sketching you while he's writing the song, while he's like maybe painting something over here. I don't know. That's just how he is. Anyways, he was like, "Ella, how's your relationship life going?" And I was like, "Aaron, honestly, I'm at the point where they look like they love me. I got to get out of there. It's just too much for me right now." And we giggled at that. And then, as songwriters, when you hear something like "You Look Like You Love Me," we're like, well, there's a title.
Yeah.
And we just wrote the title down and we wrote the song in 2022. So 6 months later, we had an afternoon write. he loves to talk about how I brought in this bowl of spaghetti. I was like, I made my lunch, brought it in, and I had this bowl of spaghetti. And we say this is like the luckiest bowl of spaghetti. I think we might get a tattoo with like a tiny piece of
nice.
spaghetti on it.
Yeah,
But
Noodle hanging out.
That's cool.
sorry, Dad. It's too far
Shaking his
gone now. It's too far gone. The tattoos now. It's
The
too far gone.
disapproving smirk was
Yeah.
classic, dude. Classic
It's a
dad.
dad
He's-
smirk.
it's-
Classic
he
dad.
said it's too far gone now.
Yeah.
So anyway, so we just sat down and I was like, what about that Look Like You Love Me song? Or like, and Aaron is probably one of the funniest people I've ever met. If you don't know Aaron Ratier, just look up this song called Jesus Jenny. Look it up on YouTube, Aaron Ratier doing it, because him doing it acoustic is one of the funniest things ever. It's like, Jesus Jenny, your titties popping out your turtleneck. You're riding around in your red Corvette, getting all the wrong kinds of respect. Jesus Jenny.
That's good.
Doing what your mom wouldn't want your mama to see. It's just hilarious
Yeah,
the whole
that's
way
good.
through. And
That's real good.
and because I grew up on all that, I grew up on a lot of talking country. Like I said, one of my first favorite songs was "You Never Even Call Me by My Name."
Right.
I knew the talking part of that song before the age of 5.
But it had a duck in it.
And it had a duck in it.
Rubber duck.
So I was
mallard.
like, Aaron, let's just write it funny. And let's just exactly like a woman walking up to a guy in the bar, and we hit record, and Aaron just let it rip. And him and I were just freestyling pretty much for like 5-10 minutes. And we wrote the whole song like that. And then we just kind of pieced it back together
Yeah.
from that work tape. It fell out almost
Yeah, isn't that awesome?
immediately. We had a whole second verse, and then after I wrote that song, I just didn't think it was going to do anything because for just talking in the verses, it's not very common.
Yeah.
It's a song about
Super
a girl
country.
walking
Yeah.
up to a guy she's had a couple drinks. She's like, "Let me take you home, baby." It's like
Yeah.
when
Roles
you're
reversed a
first
little bit.
writing in town, like people are very opinionated on what works well.
Sure.
And I'm like,
For
what?
sure.
Formula.
There's a formula. You got it. What's radio looking for? What's a radio song? What's not a radio song? And so you just have all these things in your head as a young writer, especially. Moving here, and there's everyone's writing songs here, so it's just not like I'm living in Alabama, right, with a couple people making
Right.
up my own ideas.
Right.
But so there's this girl named Maya Hansen. She signed me to my first publishing deal at Sony, what I'm currently in right now. But she loved the song. I sent her the work tape. We just have a shitty work tape. I'll text it to y'all too. It's a
Yeah.
great work tape. I
Yeah.
think I want to put the work tape out
Yeah, you
at some
should.
point.
Oh,
but
crush.
and we were doing the work tape, and I remember trying to deliver the song. I did it once, and it was kind of weird. And he's like, "Do it like you're trying to remember a story when you're doing the talking part." Because I was all but 22, I think, at the time. And then, just kind of reading it, talking it like normal. And he's like, "I'm going to do it like you're trying to remember a story."
Huh.
So I was like, I was all but 22. I think at the time.
Yeah, it puts a
Been
different
out on the
spin
road,
Yeah.
lonely at night. And it changed how I was singing it completely. And Maya heard it, loved it. Tried to get me to put it in the Dropbox for the EP I put out, Excuse the Mess. And I was like, no way, man. Like, no one's going to like that song. And I just didn't, I don't know. I thought it was more of a joke. I wrote it to when people aren't listening at Live Oak or to say something to get their attention, or I'm
sure.
around the bonfire, at the hunt camp trying to make everyone giggle.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
love songs like that. I
Same.
love a funny song,
Yeah.
And when we were cutting for the record, she slipped it in there. She didn't tell me it was the last song on there. And I got calls from my agent, from people high up in my record label that hadn't called me, like all these people from this shitty work tape. There's all these like great demos at this point. Like I've got great demos now, this is,
Playing the game.
the worst sounding one on there. It's a crappy work tape, and it's
It's the one
You Look Like You Love Me, and they're like, this song is insane. And so we cut it with the first round. We cut songs. It wasn't going to be a duet. We cut it when we cut. We did You Look Like You Love Me, Nicotine, Hungover, Paint the Town Blue, and another one I can't remember.
Nicotine's killer.
Thank you.
All of those songs are killer.
Thank you. So we cut that song, and then right after that, Riley asked us on tour, I think the week afterwards. So I was driving around listening to the cut, and, I've known Riley. Riley was like the first famous person I ever knew, like he was around playing all the same bars I was trying to play in.
Yeah.
He's already done that, so I was always, a bunch of steps behind him, but I was, trying to follow in those footsteps.
Yeah,
of,
Floribama and all those.
Floribama. I've done all, we're from the same area kind of,
Sure.
he's from Jacksonville, from Alabama, but from Montgomery, but, it's like 2 hours apart.
Yeah.
So grew up going all the same places. I knew he grew up on the same kind of music. And I just asked him, I straight up just asked, I was like, would you want to write a second verse to this? And Bradley sent it to him, and we didn't hear from him about it until like December. And
He's
called
not quick
me.
on the old
Well,
old
I
text
mean, you
trip.
know,
That feels like-
it's,
that feels like me
him
sending him a
writing
song.
For the record.
him writing a second verse. You know, I knew we weren't done cutting the record, so I wasn't like in this massive rush.
Yeah.
But he called me. I'll never forget. I was getting my nails done, and I looked down, and me and Kaylee, my phone is face up, and it said Riley Green, and I was like, "What?" I answered it, and he's like, "Hey, I sent you the song, the verse. Like, it's in your text messages. If you like it," he's like, I would love to do it." So I listened to it. It's exactly what it was. I was like, "It's perfect." You know, I just told him to do it. I was like, "Why would you respond to a woman walking up to you in a bar?" And I gave him the reference of, you know, I was like, "Think of Dave Down Co." I was like, "Think how they do that." And I think you can kind of in Riley's verse specifically hear the reference to the way that they talk it like that.
Yeah.
It's cool. And I really wanted to do it so we could sing it on tour the whole time, but I couldn't get his to do it on tour.
No.
But we did all kinds of other songs, and we played it all the time in the green room. I mean, he played it constantly. Everyone knew it. We played it after when everyone's hanging out. We played it guitar. I think one of the first nights on tour, we like sang it together in the back of the green room. It was there's a video on my Instagram of it. There's like a random McDonald's half-eaten cheeseburger on the table. You know,
Heck yeah, double
whatever.
cheese.
Just after show life.
He ain't eating that cheeseburger though.
No,
That joker
No,
is a
he
machine.
ain't.
dude.
No, he ain't. But so we go through the whole tour. I've been like trying to get videos of us doing the song. You know, I'm like just trying to like, you know, not be weird about it, but like still trying to like promote the song, you know, like,
Yeah, yeah.
oh, I did this so we could do it on tour.
Yeah.
So the last night on tour, he had asked me, so we did it in color. That was the song I went up and did with him every night. And then he loves Dreams by Fleetwood Mac. He loves that song. He does this thing, shoulders. It's really weird. Like he just can't help himself, you know?
Yeah.
So he asked me one night, he's like, "Hey, we do Dreams with the band tonight?" And he just took his guitar off. We did in color, took his guitar off, put it on me, and I just played Dreams with his band on stage in front of the whole arena, you know?
Yeah.
I'm like, "You got it?" You know, I don't know what key. I don't know keys and nothing, so don't ask me.
Just sing it.
Just sing it. No, he just walked off stage and did whatever, got a drink or something, and then came back on and played a set. He does. He's so chill and like it's just he's loose like that. But the last night of tour, we get done with In Color, and he leans down, and I'm like, pull my hair out, and he's like, "You want to do that other song?" I was like, "Yeah." So I'm thinking, I put my cape on one. I'm ready to do Dreams. And Riley goes, "Well, we haven't done this song before," and I was like, "He's talking about You Look Like You Love Me." This is the last night of tour. The band doesn't know. I didn't. Nobody knew. It's just Riley, of course. So we do the song, video comes out, and I teased it once before Riley announced it was on it. And that first video I did, it was just of the talking verse, and it went insane.
Exploded.
I don't know how many views it has on TikTok now, but I mean, it did it on Instagram too. It was just one little video we did. I just did one little random one before a show one night, and it went insane.
Wow.
So it was already going like millions and millions of views viral before he was announced. So then when he was announced on it, it was like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
and then, it came out in July. What was crazy is we did Hyde Park with Morgan Wallen on 4th of July. It was really funny to be in London on the 4th of July.
Yeah. Did they even celebrate over there?
America's holiday?
I'm just wondering if it like got exciting over there or no.
No.
It's like it didn't even happen.
No, it's like, this is how we, you know, it's like we separated from them. So
That's true.
it's like, I think
I just
they
wonder if they would
probably
even acknowledge that.
No,
shit
they
over there.
didn't. I thought about getting everyone in my band. I did buy everyone American flag underwear, and then I accidentally left
Sick.
it all here. So it just, I know, of course. But there's 50,000 people there. And when
Jeez.
Riley plays on the festival, most of the time we save it for his set.
Yeah.
And at this time, I mean, the song wasn't even out yet. It'd only been the TikTok. And we went out there, and it was a sea of people. It was the most people I've ever played in front of. 50,000 people. Like, that is like, you can't, I mean, it is a sea of
Yeah.
people.
It's an unfathomable amount of people.
And I remember walking out there and starting the song, and 50,000 people. This is like one of my first times I've ever experienced people sing the words back that I wrote, and it's 50,000 people, you know?
Killer.
Like, I think when you spend so long wishing for something, and for me, it's been my whole life, and not just wishing so hard, but working for something. And recently I've been talking about the way when you start out, you got to do it for you. You can't do it for anybody else because
sure.
nobody else is giving you that. Nobody else is going to give you what you need from them emotionally or anyway,
No.
because you're starting out, you know,
Yeah.
you're not writing the songs you're going to one day. You're not playing the shows you're going to, you don't sound the way you're going to, you know, and you got to do it for you. You got to do it because you want to. So this past year, it's kind of changed a little bit where the fans are like, "Thank you for doing this." I'm like, you're thanking me for chasing my dream? Like what? You know, and it's weird. It's really weird for people that come up and to me, and I'm experiencing like fans for the first time in that way. And we just finished this headlining tour, and I think with having a song that's viral, it's scary a little bit because it's like, man, I mean, the shows are sold out, but
Yeah,
it's
but
like,
you
are they
don't-
coming to listen to the one thing? You know, I'm a pessimist. I'm
Yeah,
thinking,
sure. Well,
whose
you're-
grandma bought all these tickets and made all of them come? You know, like,
Dude,
I
yeah.
know that's what it is.
Well, it's because you're creative. I mean, we all are, and you've had this town kick you in the teeth a little bit, like we have, and it turns you to that kind of a person. But I'm here to tell you, you shouldn't be worried about that because the record's so damn good. Like,
Thank you.
the songs, I mean, it has a foundation under it. It's not,
Yeah,
you're
it
not just
feels
a
right.
one-hit cat.
Thank you.
You know what I'm saying? It's a great record. You're a great artist. You're going to continue to write great songs, and I think you're going to have a big, fat, long career in this
Thank
town.
you.
Yeah, seriously.
All right, I want to show you this video. And you're talking about having fans. This little girl right here is one of your biggest ones, and I don't know.
Actually,
we might.
she's one of your littlest ones.
Yeah.
She's
Well,
about
I
this
don't know.
tall.
I can't show this, but here, like.
Can you sing it good and loud? All right, let's hear it.
I was turning it down. Don't turn it down.
Loud.
That is so cute.
Yes. All right. Who does she look like?
My favorite play. Hang on, right here.
That's so cute.
She loves it.
Who does she look-
her
Little
favorite.
kids, I think that's one of the reasons this song has done what it's done is how, I mean, there's no telling a day how many videos of kids that age.
2-year-olds?
Yes.
Really?
All over the world singing this song. It's crazy. And you know, little kids, when they get obsessed with a song,
Oh,
they
and
gonna
do
play
I.
that song over and over.
Again, Daddy.
So it's
Again,
like,
Daddy.
oh, we've been shooting for the wrong audience this whole
She's
time.
been shooting
You
for
know what I mean?
2-year-olds this whole
Why do
time.
you think Baby
Dude.
Shark did so well?
No,
you know?
doubt.
Somebody got real rich off Baby Shark.
I saw a video of a dog going like, "Woo," you know, singing a song. It's crazy.
The
where,
dog was singing
Like
a
I've seen videos of dogs with it. Like it's nuts.
I mean, that's what Roger Miller did, right? He just wrote like everything he wrote. Tried to do like preschool rhymes. You know, that's
Well, it has changed the way I write songs completely. The way I approach writing songs.
sure.
Because you know, you said it like what we said in that video. It's how many times if you just sat there and wanted to bang your head against the wall trying to write a song.
right.
Sometimes it's not even a good song, you know.
Totally.
You get done and you're like, that was just the worst,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And ever since this song,
simplified it for you a little bit, huh?
ever since the song, and I feel like I was kind of doing it before the song blew up, but it really sedimented in my brain
Yeah.
where it just doesn't have to try that hard. If it's a great melody, it gets the point across.
Yeah.
Sometimes people don't want to think that hard about
Yeah,
music. They just
most
don't.
of the time.
Preach.
They just don't. And, you know, I listen to my music a lot of different ways. Like sometimes I'll listen to songs, I'll turn it down where I can't hear the lyrics anymore because I just want to hear how it feels when you're
Totally.
listening to it. I think that's why Morgan Wallen, a reason his music streams so well. I mean, obviously it's great, but when you can turn Morgan Wallen down right here, not hear really any of the words, and you can sit here and listen to it like this.
Yeah.
It's great music to have a conversation over, but also turn it up and listen to it, and it's great. People
It
just
sounds
says that
good
too.
Yeah.
And so I do that a lot with what I've been doing that a lot recently with my songs, and what I'm doing for this next record is it's a lot about feeling,
Yeah.
and that's what I love so much about country music, especially in like the 70s and the 80s and the 60s. It's not the most complicated title, but the way that they approach the title is so cool. Sometimes it's just simple, but the melody, you won't get that melody out of your head.
Right.
And I feel like sometimes when you're listening to a song and you don't have to think too hard about it, the melody's like not this crazy, like, you know what I mean? Like it's just
Sing along.
sing along.
Yeah.
And that's what we wanted with this song. It wasn't like I was trying to show off the best vocal pass I could ever give. It was all about, I wanted this song to be where guys are in a bar, girls are in a bar, like leaning on each other like this. Like we did a take there's BGVs in there where me and Will are just in the room singing it like almost monotone, stacked in there. Just because we wanted it to feel like a bar song. I wanted it to feel
feels like
fun.
that. Feels-
you know, a
Y'all knocked it out of
honky-tonk
the park,
and-
and it's showing, man. I mean,
It feels great.
it's a giant. It's a giant tune.
It's a wild thing.
Hey, whoa, we got more. Dude,
It's an hour and 15 minutes already.
let me ask one more question.
Okay,
what's,
hurry.
what's next for you? What's you got this song? It is possibly, if not one of the biggest songs in the world right now. How do you follow it up? What do you do next? What's next for you?
I'm really excited about where I'm going next. I have the title for the next record.
Oh,
I have the
nice.
music video planned out. I have the creative for it pretty much done, and it's really organically falling out.
You're rocking.
I'm really just letting God take the wheel, honestly.
Yeah.
I've always believed that he wouldn't have put this passion on my heart so aggressively.
He wouldn't have.
So aggressively to the point where I would feel sick as a kid thinking like going to concerts was kind of a miserable thing for me at a young age because I would sit up there and I would want to do it so bad that I would feel sick to my stomach because I just wanted to be up there so bad. So, you know, with this next record, I kind of want to show that side a little more of me, where the Alabama who is Ella Langley, you know, not just the songwriter or the artist, but the human being. And
Well, people are going to want to know.
yeah,
I mean, honestly, I think
I think there is a level of honesty in my songs that not everyone has, and I think that's maybe what's going to set it apart a little bit, you know. But this next record, I'm so excited about it. I start every one of my writes right now with like this massive spiel. I've made this whole playlist that I listen to every day, like of reference tracks, and just like, you know, to kind of get me in the headspace of where I want it. It's gonna be groovy, country.
Nice.
I've been listening to a lot of Ronnie Millsap, if that gives you any indication.
does.
A lot of George Jones. I mean, I'll send you all the playlists that
Yeah,
I've been
I'd love to
listening
listen
to.
to
I've
it.
been sending it to a lot of writers I've been writing with.
Yeah, awesome.
Because I kind of send this little spiel of like what I'm doing before the write that night,
Yeah.
and then, you know, they can listen to it and be in that
That's
headspace. But
Hey,
Smart.
artists, take notes.
Yeah, it's really smart.
well, it's just really it's
be nice.
organically falling out. It's crazy. I can't wait to share what it is, and I'll tell you all when we get off the thing. But it is just, it's such a cool follow up, and I know that this next record is going to only be better than the one that I just put out because that's my first record. That's me guessing. I didn't know how to put out a record.
Now you know.
Now I've done it before. I have a
Yeah,
little
come on.
experience, and I know what I want and don't want, and I know the band that I want to a T. You know, I think we're going with a different producer on this next one, and I haven't completely nailed that down yet. But you know, just excited for this next chapter of just growing and playing the shows.
We
and-
believe in
Good
you,
for
Ella.
you, man.
Seriously.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Your
Yeah,
stuff's
absolutely.
great.
I'm not in a rush. I plan on doing this for the rest of my life, so I'm just really enjoying the journey of
I think you should.
all of it. You
Yeah.
know.
Yeah.
That's why it's gonna work, and that's why it's gonna be huge, and you're gonna be huge, and the whole thing's gonna be awesome.
Well, thank you.
All
right, go for it.
I forgot we were higher.
There you go.
Sure, that was important.
That thing you had to say, it was. But it's that time of the show for the one that got away. It's part of the show. You switch it every time.
Yeah, that's what I do. This is a part of the show, Ella, where we talk about the one that got away. If you didn't understand that little ditty that just happened there, did we prep her for this?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You got one? What is it?
This is how I learned to not get out of the tree stand too early.
Okay.
I was actually in a tent. There was this buck that we'd been seeing on camera. Do you think it was that 12 point we were seeing on camera all the time? It was.
If you turn this into a deer hunting story,
This is the one that got away. They said it could be
it's the
about
one
a
that got
deer.
away.
Whatever
oh,
wants to
okay, all right, I
You
got
didn't
you.
know we switched gears.
Anyways, so I mean, biggest buck I
He said
have
if you
ever
turned
shot
this
in my
into a deer
life. It was massive, and I was so excited that I think I probably waited about 6 minutes. I don't
So
know.
wait, you shot the deer?
Waited about 6 minutes, and my plan was to go ahead and start finding blood before Dad got there, so I could be like, Dad, look, I did it myself. You know,
Yeah.
I think I was like 17, 16 or 17, and I got out there and started looking for blood, and I heard, whew, whew. And I knew immediately. I'm just like, oh God. So I go back and sit in the tent and wait on Dad and act like I didn't get up, and I
yeah.
wasn't going to tell him.
Sure.
Right.
But then we go out into the woods, and there's this big pile of blood where there's lung and heart in it. And obviously he was laying down. I mean, right off into the woods. If I would have waited 15 minutes, he would have been laying right there. And we look. I mean, it went from that to this to this. I mean, I thought he was gonna be right up in there, and went down to specs, and then nothing. Gone. Gone. I had to take the ACT the next morning. And Dad's like, I mean, we had to leave, and Dad's like, I've never just left. You know, that's the biggest deer I've ever shot at in my life, and I've been seeing it on camera. I wanted to see it. I wanted to have it in my hands.
No doubt.
Anyways, I told Dad I got up early and ran him off, but we never found the deer.
Brutal.
Never found the deer. To this day, probably one of the biggest deer I've ever killed. It's dead. So it died.
Yeah.
But and we looked for so long. Now we don't even have that hunt land anymore, so we'll never know.
You'll never know.
That's a tough lesson to learn.
It was.
Because I mean, yeah, as a young hunter, you want to, you shoot something, you want to go get it. But yeah,
but they teach you, those lessons teach you, man.
No
they
doubt.
Teach you to
I learned that lesson. I remember feeling sick to my stomach. I remember that was the worst score I made on the ACT. I didn't ever score great, but that was the worst one by far.
I got a 21, and I was like, I'm done. I'm not taking it again. That'll get me into Mississippi State, and I just that was it.
That's awesome.
I hate tests.
Oh God,
Gives me
Can't do
me
it.
sick. Think about it.
We also do Gravorite tune. So this is the greatest / favorite song that kind of comes to mind for you in your journey coming up.
I want to do my Spotify rap just came in today. Everyone's Dead, I think. And my number one song on that is Rose Colored Glasses, John Connolly.
Ooh.
That was on the CD of Dad's. That's one of my first. I think that was the first song I realized I thought what a good melody was.
Interesting.
I just remember, like, I loved the way it sounded and the way that he sang it. And I didn't even, before I knew really what a melody was, that's the first melody I remember and thinking, wow.
That keyword, give us a word.
With these rose-colored glasses that I'm looking through, show only the beauty they hide, all the truth. So I'll just keep on hoping, believing you need me when you prove so many times it ain't true. And I find one good reason for staying, maybe leaving would be the best for you. With these rose-colored glasses that I'm looking through, show only the beauty they hide, all true.
Jam, dude.
And
Man, Ella Langley and Dad.
thank you for
Jason
letting my dad on
Langley.
here.
Yeah,
Dad's
thank
first
y'all, man.
podcast.
Dad's first pod.
You did great, Dad.
I don't
Really
know.
great.
Thank you.
He said, I don't know. Thank you.
Sounds
Sounds good.
Yeah. Hey, congrats on everything.
Thank you.
Yeah, you're killer.
Thank y'all for having us
you're gonna
on
be
here.
great. This is great.
Yeah,
It's
you're gonna
go
be great. It's huge.
huge.
This next record, I'm pumped for it. It's
huge.
gonna be huge,
Huge.
But thanks for coming and
Thank
hanging
you.
out. Thanks for coming and
Thank you
and
for
talking
having
to
me.
us.
Yep.
Yeah, this was a lot
Megan,
of fun.
thanks for making it work. Appreciate you.
That's right.
Appreciate you. Appreciate the gift bag, dude. First gift bag.
Got a gift bag.
Dude.
For anybody that's going to come on the
Pumped
pod, just know that Ella brought a gift bag.
Yeah, just
Ella's
know.
a suck up. Just know that.
Maybe
Ella's a kiss.
we'll promote it even more than we. I'm just kidding. Thanks for that.
Thanks for hanging out. Thanks for hanging out with us in God's country, and we'll check y'all next time.